Okay, so I want to take a second to talk about modeling as well, because modeling is an amazing, amazing technique. And you can use it in play, you can use it in other modalities as well. But the key part with modeling is it's not just, a lot of times we think about it as modeling physical skills or showing how to do something. And it's not so much, it does include that. It's not only that though. You can model frustration tolerance, for example, of maybe you and a kiddo are trying to put a puzzle together, and just the fact of being like, oh man, this is tricky, or revealing that maybe it's not always easy, um, that feels really little. But for some kiddos who maybe have self-esteem issues and are always thinking, why is everything so hard for me? Why am I the only one that's hard for? Stuff like that. For those kiddos, that the fact that someone else, especially an adult that they have a connection to, is able to be, hey, I struggle too, or everything's not easy. The fact that an adult's able to be open about that is massive, because it gives the child that idea of maybe it's not just me. Um, you can also model emotions. This, you have to be careful with this, related to professional boundaries, of course, as with anything modeling related. But even just the idea of maybe playing a game, and you can use humor with this a lot too. So one thing I will do a lot is playing a game. Oh, I'm so mad I didn't get this thing. Um, if it's the right kid to do that with, obviously. Um, Even just the idea of mentioning an emotion, or acting out the emotion like overload, like that. I'm so mad. Like, no one overly acts like that when they're mad, but it allows the kid to see, hey, emotions are normal, they happen, and they're able to kind of see that you're approaching them lightheartedly instead of with anxiety or judgment. Um, it allows a kid to learn that, everyone has emotions. Everyone responds differently to emotions. And emotion regulation is crucial, but it kind of takes away that anxiety about having an emotion, that shame about having an emotion. Again, that idea of, oh, it's not just me. This is nothing to be ashamed about. Um, so you can model so many things, and a lot of times it's just the way you respond. Um, so it's important to remember you can also model social skills. Um, Maybe a child is struggling with anxiety being able to approach someone because they don't necessarily know, like, what would I say? What would I do? What happens if they say no and don't want to play with me? You can model that um, pretty organically for kiddos. And again, it's not just doing it for the kid, it's modeling, hey, this is what I would do. Maybe you want to try it next time. Um, Making sure it stays therapeutic. So I hope that explains a little bit more. Um, Modeling, and then I'll talk about role playing a little bit on the next slide. Those are two like techniques that kind of just, you don't, I'm trying to think how to explain this. You don't just model for 5 minutes as a technique. It's kind of a continual thing. It's kind of part of that therapeutic relationship. And role playing as well. That's just a whole idea and approach that you can take. Role playing, you can have smaller segments of it throughout the session. Um, Modeling, you're kind of always doing as a therapist. So it's just important to take that lens and making sure you're remembering what a kiddo is learning from me that maybe I'm not intentionally putting out there. Um, Being aware that you're always modeling, especially when it comes to communication, frustration, emotions, things like that.